What's up, YouTube? Today we're going to be looking at a Galar Cup team that consists of Malamar, Galarian Weezing, and Mawile. And the reason we put these three together is because Malamar is pretty neutral into a lot of the meta. That being said, it does struggle against other darks, specifically Mandibas, just because the superpower is only neutral, whereas it's not super effective. But it also struggles against fairy types because both foul play and superpower are resisted. So what do we have in the back? We have two Pokemon that are good against darks in a fairy, as in they're both fairies, but they're also fairies that are good against other fairies. So that way you kind of have that nice core going on. And as you can see right off the bat, so Diggersby Malamar wins that matchup. Mandibuzz and Clefable, the back two, win that matchup. So a perfect ABB kind of style line. And then you see Toxapex. It says that's a losing matchup for Malamar, but I have a feeling if they build up the sludge wave, you shield that, you can probably time your moves a little bit better and probably just go for the one shield farm down in that scenario. And if not, you lose the evens kind of deal, and then you just come in with either Mawile, because Poison Jab is actually still resisted because Steel double resists Poison, and try and take it out quickly there, assuming it's low enough, or just come in Weezing and get to that Brutal Swing and 4 Fairy Winds and take it out. So, and the same goes for like Gastrodon. That's a neutral matchup with Malamar. Obviously, you have to stay in that matchup because you need to be able to get rid of that Mud Slap user. Obviously, Mud Slap users are going to be bad in the back, especially if they have like a fairy on the lead. But let's talk about the team. Let's just hop right into the battles. You can see how they play out. So into the first match, Ninetales. So once instantly we could run into a bad lead. We come in with the Weezing, and then they come in with their Mudboy. So we're just going to get off this Play Rough. That does about 50%. I wasn't expecting them to shield because they are the non-shadow. They know they can take that damage. They're just going straight Aqua Tail here. I'm not going to quite make it to the Play Rough before they make it to the next move, so I'm just going to chip with a Brutal Swing on CMP and have them take me out, which is good because now that means we've won, we've earned a shield advantage in the mid game. Now we can just come in with Malamar. They'll probably make it to either one Stone Edge or two Aqua Tails here, so we are just going to let the first one go. And it is just the Aqua Tail, and we actually get the full farm down before they make it to another one, so that's huge. They are on Powder Snow, so I do elect to go for the super power chip before I dip into Mawile, because they are completely walled here. They panic throw. That's fantastic for us. Now their energy is wasted. They have Psyshock, and then they come in with Goodra. So their Dragon Breaths are double resisted here. So I'm just going to go full send the Play Rough. I probably will shield every move, but they actually elect to no shield that, and at this point the game is over because I'm going to make it to 2 Iron Heads with 2 shields, and that's game. Gourgeist, I'm not sure how you pronounce this Pokemon's name, but this is the one and only time I ever saw this Pokemon. I mistimed my attack, and they actually catch the foul play onto the Skuntank, so it's a pretty nice play. And then I come in with Mawile. So why am I coming in with Mawile? Like I said in the beginning, you're still resisting those poison jabs. Even though poison is super effective on fairy, it's double resisted on steel, so it nets a single resistance. So I know I can live any one move here because they're Crunch and Trailblaze, so they're walled. So even though I grabbed a shield from them, I can now go for a second Iron Head and take them out, and still I've won switch and I've won shield advantage. They do. I was going to make it to another Iron Head, so they do make the nice counting there and decide to take me out with a Seed Bomb. I'm going to come back in with my Malamar. This is probably just another Seed Bomb, but I will shield just to maintain some health because I don't know what's in the back, and it is double Dark Poison in the back. So we're just going to chip this with a Superpower or grab the shield. And then we're going to come in with Weezing. We know we can survive either a Sludge Bomb or Aqua Tail here, but I believe they only built up to the Aqua Tail. And now at this point, we can just go for the Play Rough, and this should be game over. Once this lands, because even if they take me out here, I still have the Malamar with a shield advantage and energy advantage. But they do come back in. I make it to the Brutal Swing. I'm just going to come in with Malamar and go for the full Psy Wave down to take out the Drapion. Into the next match, we got a Drapion on the lead. So this is another dark type, but we are going to switch into our fairies just because they're kind of walled unless they're running Sludge Bomb. They have to go straight Aqua Tail. It's non-stab. It'll hurt, but it doesn't do all that much. And then they come in with a Mud Slap user in Galar. And I know I can make it to 2 Brutal Swings here, which is huge. And that is why we're using Weezing as a safe swap instead of Mawile. Mawile can very easily get walled, whereas Weezing, it's not as easy. At this point, I know my Malamar doesn't have much play, so I will let this go. But they do just bait with the Shadow Punch. So this time I will shield it up. They just go for another Shadow Punch. I'm going to get this Foul Play off to take them out. And then I wouldn't be surprised if I instant swap here into my Mawile. I do. They're probably going to chip with an Aqua Tail. I don't know what's in the back, but I know I can survive one Aqua Tail. We'll do about 50%. They go for a Crunch for whatever reason, maybe fishing for the debuff. And then they come in with a Pokemon that I have not seen in a while. What the hell is it called? Bell something. Blossom, that's right. Literally forgot the name of the Pokemon because I haven't seen it in so long. Everything is resisted for them though, so I will just let that go. Can I make it to a superpower before they take me out? It looks like I will be able to, so it looks like I am going to shield this up. We get to the superpower with 1 HP, which is massive, because this chip will get them into the deep red, and then Mawile can get the full farm down before they make another Aqua Tail. So a little bit messy in the end game there, but we do still take that win. Diggersby. We saw how this matchup plays out in the even ones. PvPoke probably assumes you're going to go for a superpower bait with Foul Play, and that is probably what I'm going to do because I don't want to lower my attack yet. They come in Mandibuzz. I should not be throwing here. I should just be coming in Mawile. Mawile completely walls it. There's no point to throw that superpower. That being said, this is an extremely dominant matchup, so I will come out with energy. Unless my opponent is running Shadow Ball. So this has suddenly become a little bit more interesting. I like that play that they're running Shadow Ball because that does mean they have some niche play into Mawile, which is the top ranked still in this meta. And it looks like I will get to another play rough before their Diggersby can take me out, which is huge, because this will do some very solid chip and probably put them in superpower range. At this point, I will just let them take me out. They do just go for the Fire Punch. That is enough damage to take me out. Now I'm just going to go for that superpower before their next Scorching Sands, and they let that go, and then they have their own Weezing in the back. So now I am going to be a Fairy Wind behind, assuming they throw before I throw, and they do. Everything is going to be resistant on both sides here. I did shield the first in case it was a potential overheat, but it's not. And then I bait with a Brutal Swing, which is rough because they call it. And then I go for another Brutal Swing. This time they shield it up. I'm going to shield again. Play rough is going to do more damage to Brutal Swing, and I don't imagine my opponent is going to bait here, but they do. They bait me back. So now I'm going to go for a Brutal Swing bait again. And at this point, I just have to make it. I know they're going to beat me by 1 turn, so I switch 1 turn before I make it to my play rough. They take me out. This means that now I'm basically an entire charge move ahead. I just have to make it to the play rough plus a Brutal Swing, it looks like, or the Fairy Winds will be enough to take them down. Once that Fairy Wind registers, it will take them out, so I just need to survive this move, and I do. Non-Shadow beats the Shadow. Love to see it, because I do not have a Shadow version. Wish I did, but I did not raid. Ooh, okay, Toxapex. So we actually get to see this matchup out. That is exciting. I'm going to farm up. I'm going to go for the Foul Play right before they make it to their move, but it looks like they caught onto an Air Slash Mandibuzz, which is fine because we have Mawile, which is a complete hard wall unless they're running Shadow Ball. Air Slash is even worse for my opponent in this situation because the energy generation is slower and both would be resisted. So you're seeing me go for a slight undercharge this time, and that's because I know they can't take me out with the next move, so I want to come out energy loaded. I know this will not take me out. It's just an aerial ace. I get the Fairy Wind farm down, and now when they come back in with Toxapex, even though everything is walled here, I am going to go for that play rough. It still does some decent chip, and then I'm going to go for another play rough. It looks like I might have been able to make 2 Iron Heads instead, so perhaps I should have done that. But they are still going to have to go for the full farm down. Yeah, it looks like 2 Iron Heads might have been the better play, but that is okay. I come in with Wheezing, expecting them to go Sludge Wave and it be neutral, but it's neutral either way. But fortunately for me, they've got a Ghost type in the back, so I've got 2 Pokemon with Dark type moves, which is huge. I'm basically just going to shield this up, let the debuff hit, and then get out of this matchup. Just because I know debuffing and farming me down is probably their only win con. So I will let them get off the Icy Wind, get into this matchup. I get the Foul Play off before they make their next move. And even 1 times debuffed, this Foul Play will probably either take out or be very close to taking out. And then in the back is just that Toxapex, which is just going to get Psywave farmed down before they can make a move. So Toxapex, not really a core breaker. Wheezing, this is a pretty neutral matchup because Psywaves are super effective, but none of my charge moves do anything, but I do go for the Play Rough catch onto my Wheezing, and it's an Overheat, so that is a little bit unfortunate. We do catch an Overheat. They come in with Lanoon. I'm only going to make 1 move, it looks like. So 1 Play Rough I think does more damage than 2 Brutal Swing, so I will go for that. But they do get the full farm down. Now, if they're either on probably Thunder and Grass Knot or Dig Grass Knot, or I come in with my Mawile here just because hoping they would blind throw the Grass Knot. They don't. They go for the Thunder. It looks like I might be able to shield this and fully farm them down, so I think that's what I'm going to commit to doing. But then we both come in with our lead Pokemon. Fortunately for me, my Psywaves have put this into Foul Play range, so we are able to take that out, which is huge. Because if they come back in with that Lanoon, we can actually get the superpower off, but they're actually ABB, weak to fighting. So I'm going to bait with the Foul Play here, and then go for the superpower. At this point, I'm just trying to burn that switch clock because after this gets off, I want to reset that debuff. And fortunately for me, they are going to throw. I'm staying in this matchup. I think I'm going for a catch. I'm unsuccessful in the catch, but that's okay because I get the full Fairy Wind farm down. I was expecting them to throw right away, so I just go for the Play Rough instantly. This will put them into superpower range, so at this point I know I've won the game because Malamar does win CMP against Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn, pretty bulky Pokemon. They have to throw now to take me out. So even if they're at back-to-back Power Whips, this game is over. As you see, I win CMP there with the superpower, and I'll be able to take this out. So far we've seen only wins because this team was insane. I went on an insane win streak from like 2250 to like 2500. I'm veteran at this point. They switch into Mandibuzz in this next matchup, and once again we have Mawile as an answer for the back. I don't know why people thought Mandibuzz would be kind of a safe switch in this meta if I was running Malamar, maybe in case, I don't know, I was team building poorly. But as you see, I go for the undercharge again because they've shown me their moveset is just the Foul Play. So I will go for the full Fairy Wind farm down. They can have 1, maybe even 2 moves, but that isn't going to worry me. And then they come back in with Quagsire. So now I have to come in with Malamar. The only issue with this is obviously their ABB if they're switching in the Mandibuzz in a very neutral matchup of Quagsire versus Malamar. Looks like they are going to make another Stone Edge, so I will either force their shield or take them out here, and I do force the shield. At this point, I probably will not shield because I'm expecting my fairy Pokemon is going to be better in the back. It's Weezing comes in, gets a little bit of energy lead, and they kind of are, but for some reason they didn't use Drapion as their safe swap. I'm not really sure why. They definitely should have. But now with this energy lead, it looks like I will be able to get to 2 play roughs before they get to 3 Aqua Tails, so that's huge. It means I do not have to bait and gain an extra lose con here, so I full send the play rough. 3 more Fairy Winds make it to another play rough. Is this enough to take out, though, is the question. It is, and they just have that 1 HP Quagsire in the lead, so that is game. Couple more matchups here. We've got Ninetales in the lead. So this is kind of a Pokemon I didn't really talk about because it wasn't really top meta, but fire is obviously an issue for the 2 Pokemon in the back. Neutral for your Pokemon in the lead. So you're staying in this matchup. You'll probably see me shield everything here. I am worried about an overheat, but they do just go Weather Ball, and it looks like we would have gotten to the move at the same time, so I did not want to CMP. I know this can only be another Weather Ball, so I will let this go. And then I really need them to no shield this and let this go, but they don't. And it looks like I'm not going to make it to a superpower. I probably should have gone double superpower there. Fortunately for me, I probably can shield this and then just go for the brutal swing to take them out. They do just go Weather Ball, and then they come in with Mandibuzz. I could come in with my Mawile in the back, which I do. So that's good, because even though everything is walled, if I get this full farm down, that Ninetales is not going to be able to take me out before I take them out, if I come out with several moves loaded. They are at back-to-back Dark Pulses already, but it looks like I might be able to get the full Fairy Wind farm down, and I am. So that's huge. If they come back in with Ninetales, which they don't, they actually come in with Abomasnow. We're just going to go for these super effective Iron Heads here. That nearly one-shots. Then they come back in with the Ninetales. I will get off this Iron Head to take them out. And then I'm going to come in with Weezing to sweep up this game. Into the next match, Quagsire on the lead. Neutral matchup. We're staying in this matchup. Our backline does not want to see these pesky ground types. Throwing on a little bit better timing this time, getting off that foul play before they make the Stone Edge. They let that go. I'm going to shield this up because I really don't want my backline to see this, and they bait with an Aqua Tail. So that is unfortunate. We're already kind of in a losing situation here. I know 1 Stone Edge won't take me out here, but they actually bait again with the Aqua Tail. So this time I'm going to go for the foul play just to take them out. And what is in the back? It's the Mandibuzz. So now this is where we're going to safe swap, save our Malamar in case it's needed in the back, because Weezing still has a very good matchup here. They chip with the Aerial Ace, and then they come in Drapion. So this team, again, obviously my opponent is playing it a little bit differently than the previous opponent. For some reason, once again, they're safe switching Mandibuzz instead, though, or coming into our safe switch with Mandibuzz. And this one's just going to get an Aqua Tail, but I'm still going to get to 2 play roughs here. And this is where keeping the Malamar alive was actually a big play, because now I can just let this go. They're in Fairy Wind farm down range. My Mawile can come in, clean this up. I'll actually go for the 1 Fairy Wind just to take them out so that my Mawile was completely full on health, and this is just an absolutely dominant matchup, so my opponent resigns the match. Into the last match of the video, we've got another Quagsire on the lead. Quagsire absolutely everywhere in the Galar Cup. This one is Shadow this time, so we are going to go for the foul play. They still let that go. Once again, I'm shielding this because I really just do not want this to see my back Pokemon. They bait again, so these Quagsire is baiting absolutely everywhere. This time, I'm not sure. They bait again. Okay, so my opponent's playing it very similarly to the last opponent. This time they safe switch the correct Pokemon in Drapion, and because I've seen this team now twice, I come in with my Weezing, even though Mawile would probably be a better answer, because I know that means that there is a Mandibuzz in the back. So I'm just going to full send the play rough. They let it go, so that is huge. At this point, I'm going to let this go because I've got a pretty safe matchup, and I can get the full Fairy Wind down before they get the Poison Sting farm down. It'd be even better if I could get to a Brutal Swing before they take me out, which I can, which is massive, because now I can come in with Malamar, force their energy, or they just let that go and run one Shield Mana Buzz, and unfortunately for my opponent, I've got the hardest answer to Mana Buzz in the back in Mawile. So yeah, that's the team. As you can see, it was incredibly successful, and that's just in part due to a lot of people running very similar teams. And Mawile has two huge targets in this meta. It beats the #1 ranked Pokemon in Shadow, Galarian, Weezing, because it completely walls the standard moveset of Fairy Wind plus Brutal Swing. So that's a great win right away there. It also, as you've seen in this video, completely walls Mana Buzz. So walling some of the top 2 Pokemon in this meta is absolutely massive. And then pair it with Malamar to cover its weaknesses. Malamar is pretty neutral into most of the rest of the meta. And then Galarian Weezing as your safe swap, just because it has kind of that neutral play, but does cover Malamar's weaknesses. So yeah, that's the team, that's the video, that is Mawile. Exciting news about its Mega coming up soon, so if you do need Mawile, if you don't have this Pokemon, you can get it soon. But that is the team. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.